Did you know that OnePlus released their newest phone last month and that, in a very interesting move, they decided to release the Pro version without the Pro in the name. So officially, the OnePlus 11 is the Pro and the OnePlus 11R is the base model. We have the top version here with an upgraded camera system, and we want to find out if it can compete with the Google Pixel 7 Pro and the Samsung Galaxy S23 Ultra. Thanks to Artlist for sponsoring this video. Let the facts speak. We're gonna be starting off with 3 photos that we took outdoors. We will then move on indoors and then to night photos. 3 points means the photo was really good. 2 means that it's good enough, while 1 point means that we just don't like that photo. The first one is nice with a lot of color, well, at least on me. The thing is, do you see what I'm seeing on the Pixel? I'm gonna keep repeating this until I get the copyright for it, but the one big improvement I want to see in the Pixel 8 series is an increase in brightness in bad weather conditions. It's a shame because Pixel photos often have more detail in the competition, and it's possible to see that here as well, with the umbrella having a more realistic look. Regardless, they will drop a point at the beginning as the other 2 get 3 points each, with the OnePlus 11 being slightly warmer and more saturated than the S23 Ultra, which is not something that we see often. That being said, I'm kind of seeing similar traits in the second image. The difference is minimal though, and there are no general issues with any of the photos. They each have their own understanding of color science, as we see that OnePlus looks a little brighter and more contrasty than the others. If you're curious about how the sky really looked that day, it's pretty much the most accurate on the Pixel, but all of them were able to protect the rainy day vibe. In the last outdoor photo, I think we're seeing phones interpret people differently when they're close to the camera. Unlike the first photo, the Pixel has adequately brightened up the photo, and I must say that I like the shallow depth of field that causes the background to be blurry. OnePlus's photo is equally nice, but as I just mentioned, I'm not a fan of everything being in focus. Photos like these are about the subject, and more often than not, the background being out of focus just looks nicer. Granted, this can be achieved in multiple ways with professional cameras, from decreasing the aperture value to using a lens with a long focal length, but we're obviously not going to be able to do these on a mobile phone. The photo from the Galaxy is also a nice one, but I prefer the natural skin tone on the other 2 while appreciating Samsung trying to make me look prettier than I already am. So these photos were taken outdoors. I just want to remind you, as you can see right now, as the weather changes, so does the performance of the cameras, so make sure to keep that in mind when you're making a decision. And now we're going to be going indoors to take some photos under less optimal lighting conditions. And let me just remind you, if you're having a good time, make sure to like and subscribe to support our content. Speaking of content, if you also create some or want to be a YouTuber in the future, one of the most important things that you need is good music that is not copyrighted material. We used Artlist for over 3 years for pretty much every tune you hear in our videos, from the intro all the way to the outro. They offer access to unlimited downloads of over 22,000 quality songs and 27,000 sound effects that are updated daily. They have different subscription tiers to fit your needs depending on your scale as a creator, and they even have a Teams feature with a license that covers up to 7 team members. Whenever we need something new for a video, short or reel that we want to do, Artlist provides us with a ton of filters such as vocals, BPM, and duration so that we can find exactly what we need. They also have online courses built for creators that teach you pretty much everything from practical skills to learning how to monetize your content. So for those of you who want to take the first step, this could be a good chance. If you subscribe through our link in the description, you'll also be getting 2 extra months free added to any annual subscription that you have, so make sure to check it out if you're interested in becoming a content creator. Now that we're indoors, first up is a photo of me hiding in a photo booth. Don't ask why. So straight up, I think that all of these photos have slight flaws, but they're still good enough. The S23 Ultra is brighter and the Pixel 7 Pro is darker than what I want to see. The OnePlus 11 on the other hand has balanced these 2 pretty well, but the really high saturation of the red curtain is kind of stabbing me in the eye. In the next image, the thing that I saw straight up was something that I've gotten pretty good at spotting, and that's the loss of detail on Samsung flagships. When we crop into the wings, we're able to see a good representation of this issue. OnePlus's flagship photo is a little too warm and dark for my taste since we're indoors, which makes color inaccuracies stick out even more. Google's photo isn't perfect by any means, but the color accuracy and detail is overall better than the others. Lastly, here's a photo of me chilling. Notice the persistence of the specifics, in this case, the color of the chair. All of them look nice, so not much to talk about here. Alright, so we're just gonna wait here until it gets dark outside because obviously that's the only time we can take night photos. I'll see you in a bit. So while OnePlus usually performs pretty well at night, I do see a lot of noise in the sky. Google was able to capture the most detail by taking in the most light, as Samsung is a close second. For the second photo, I'm going to take the OnePlus 11. The Pixel 7 Pro's result is slightly out of focus around my face, but is still a decent photo. The Galaxy S23 Ultra has a hazy look and is my least favorite out of the bunch. Lastly, the Pixel once again managed to preserve the most detail. The indoor light is shown to be really yellow on the S23 Ultra, which is pretty much inaccurate, and there is some noise in the sky of the OnePlus 11 once more. It was a very tight race, but the Pixel 7 Pro looks to be a step ahead of the competition. I was especially impressed with what the OnePlus 11 could do because it got 1 point more than the S23 Ultra, which is known to be a very good phone to take night photos with. Now that we've taken a look at the main camera, we should also check out the ultra-wide cameras. I honestly can't wait for summer to come because I feel the photo on the right doesn't reflect the actual quality of this phone. Or Google just could stop being stubborn and do something about it. Until then, they will lose a point as the other two get 3 each. The second photo was better overall, but still not on the same level. I feel the ones on the left and the middle look more appealing, and I honestly have the same experience with my Pixel 7 Pro under similar weather conditions. If any of you know what I'm talking about, make sure to leave a comment and let me know. And also, check out our other comparisons with the Pixel to see differences between photos in sunny and cloudy weather. When we go indoors though, the Pixel does get back on its feet. The issue is just that its photo is not completely in focus. The S23 on the other hand has quite a bit of noise around the ceiling. Wasn't expecting myself to say this at the beginning, but OnePlus seems to have put in a lot of work for their camera. The second photo is an even harder one for the devices, and even though they are very different, I wouldn't necessarily say any of them are not good enough. I can see each of them being preferred by different people with different expectations, especially looking at the colors, lighting, and shadows. For example, I like the cinematic look of the OnePlus 11's photo, but I'd probably use the Pixel's photo for my Instagram story as it's just more visible. Lastly, a couple of ultra-wide shots at night. As I said, OnePlus is known for producing phones that take great night photos, and the first one is proof of that. While it is a little warmer, the other two flopped in terms of focus. The Pixel 7 Pro did a better job than the S23 Ultra though, as my clothes along with the tree and the pillar on the left looks much more detailed. In the second photo, the S23 kinda messed up. There's just too much noise and not enough detail, which will become evident when we crop into any part of the building. I really like the natural light look of the OnePlus 11, but I also appreciate the Pixel brightening the photo so that I stand out from the dark background, so they'll be getting 2 points each for decent photos. Well, I have to say, that was quite the surprise. The OnePlus 11 just showed out of nowhere and outperformed the other two with its ultra-wide camera. This could really be the phone that its fans have been waiting for years, if they have any fans left. That being said, I am curious how they will perform in portrait mode, so let's check it out. First impressions, I am impressed. Edge detection is really good, the bokeh looks nice. Wow, OnePlus, what are you doing? Everything is pretty good, except for the small details that I will call out. See the small pins on the umbrella? Also, my skin is a bit too white. The Pixel 7 Pro on the other hand is struggling. Even though it is an improvement over the Pixel 6, you'll often see errors like inaccurate blurring as is present under my arm and around my legs, so while I look fine, the surroundings have issues. The second photo is where Samsung flexes its superiority. Everything looks similar until you see the small space between the umbrella and my shoulder. Small details like this is where Samsung really shines. Between OnePlus and Google, it seems that the edge detection of OnePlus is just better around my hair and ear, and it's not really a surprise that Google has trouble in this category. The last outdoor portrait makes me look kind of big. Remind me not to use this angle again. The standings will be the exact same for this image, as the S23 Ultra has done a marvelous job with the brushes and branches at the bottom of the frame. My hair and face also look better on the OnePlus 11 Pro compared to the Pixel 7 Pro. Indoors is a whole different story though, as Samsung went bonkers on the white balance. This is unlikely to be a consistent problem, but it did affect the quality of the photo here. I couldn't choose between Google and OnePlus as I like both interpretations of the scene. The next photo doesn't look too different. The white balance is once again better managed on the OnePlus 11, with the background of the Galaxy S23 Ultra being quite warm. The Pixel 7 Pro's detection errors are persisting, leaving it with 1 point. The last indoor photo is pretty good across all devices, but I will remove a point from the Pixel for obvious reasons, those being small inconsistencies around the hair. Night portraits were also interesting, as we usually don't take them. OnePlus was able to get the better of the two in the first image by being able to control the brightness in the background as well as adjusting it in the foreground. I continue to be amazed by the performance of this phone, as the colors are also the most accurate in the second image. The very small gap between my arm and my body is correctly blurred on Samsung's side, but the overall photo of the OnePlus 11 just looks considerably better. Google is not on the same level as Samsung regarding edge detection around my head and body, so only 1 point. The last photo was the first slip up of OnePlus, as I'm a bit lost in the shadows. Interestingly, Google nailed this photo the best. The other two get 2 points each, one being a bit too bright and the other a bit too dark. So I'm actually at a loss for words. I think this is the first time in a very long time that OnePlus has been able to put together a phone that can not only match up, but also beat the biggest brands. For that reason, I would like to congratulate them and their partner in crime Hasselblad for this amazing portrait mode performance. Now, let's take a look at some videos. Starting off with the main camera outdoors, I must admit that all three of these phones are capable of shooting good quality videos. When we take a look at the S23 Ultra's footage close up, it becomes obvious that while it has the most detail, it gets a little dark as I close in on the phone. The other two look a little less sharp and detailed than the Galaxy, so 2 points across the board for the first video. The OnePlus 11 only has 1080p video for ultra-wide, and in my opinion, they should have definitely included a 4K option. Regardless, it will still look fine on a smartphone screen, even if it's not showing the same performance as a 4K video of the S23 Ultra or the Pixel 7 Pro. When we move indoors, the results start to shift in favor of the Galaxy. The footage is pretty crisp both in the foreground and the background, as the Pixel is a close second place with very near quality. The OnePlus 11 couldn't keep up here with the other two, as there is just less detail on my face and clothes compared to the competition. Shooting indoors with the ultra-wide camera ensures that Samsung goes on with its run. Not only does it manage dynamic range better, the performance is the same as the first indoor video, and the difference in quality is even larger. Google still does pull out a better performance than OnePlus, with more details on myself once again. At night, it seems that OnePlus doesn't show the same performance when shooting video. There's quite a bit of noise covering the sky, and while there is noise on the other two as well, it is considerably less. Ultra-wide cameras tend to struggle at night, so seeing this isn't a surprise. The S23 Ultra still does a better job than the other two, as the Pixel 7 Pro's footage is more visible than the OnePlus 11, so 2 points to the former and 1 point to the latter. Regarding 8K, Google didn't see the need to put it in their latest flagship. Chinese phones do like this feature though, as OnePlus's 8K is looking pretty good, so they'll get 2 points out of 3. Samsung's flagship does it better though, as the quality is more crisp and the footage is less cropped in, giving them 3 out of 3 points. So, in the end, the Samsung Galaxy S23 Ultra just ends up being a little better than the competition. It is known as the hope of Android when it comes to videos, because it is the only Android phone that can go toe-to-toe with the iPhone in terms of video. And now, let's look at some zoom photos. Here are the optical zooms of the three phones. The Galaxy also has a 10 times optical zoom, which is very impressive. Along with the Pixel, they seem to start off better than the OnePlus 11, as there's too much artificial sharpness on the photo in the middle. 5 times is a huge difference, but 10 times is a bit closer. It's still pretty easy to see that quality and clarity wise, the S23 Ultra is the best zoom phone out of the three, as the Pixel 7 Pro comes in second place with the specialized zoom software that they use in their flagships. The OnePlus 11 can't keep up with its 2 times optical zoom and will come in last place. Stabilization, on the other hand, is really straightforward. In 4K, the order is as follows: Samsung, Google, OnePlus. This should be fairly obvious from the footage, as the Galaxy has the least amount of unwanted movement. When extra stabilization is turned on though, the standings rightfully stay the same, as the S23 Ultra is slightly better than the Pixel 7 Pro, both in resolution and stabilization. Right after this is where we will take a look at the small camera on the front, primarily used for selfies. I'm kind of leaning towards the S23 Ultra straight off the bat, as the color is a bit more natural due to lesser processing. The other two are also pretty good. Next up is an indoor selfie, and the S23 Ultra keeps on going. The Pixel 7 Pro's photo is definitely better than the OnePlus 11's though. At night, my choice will be once again Samsung's flagship, then OnePlus. Google's photo has a lot of noise and a lack of focus. In portrait selfies, my choice would usually be Samsung due to quality, but OnePlus is pretty good at separating hair. Indoors, none of them are my favorite, but the first two are slightly better than what the Pixel has to offer with that out-of-focus photo. At night, even though I'm not a fan of my skin tone on the Galaxy, the edge detection is superior when compared to the others as my hoodie is not fully visible. The video quality is hands down in the corner of the S23 Ultra, with the Pixel 7 Pro coming in second. The OnePlus 11 unfortunately only has 1080p here as well, and the quality as well as the stabilization is quite lacking. What's up guys? We're going to be doing another mic quality test. First up is the Galaxy S23 Ultra equipped with the Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 for Galaxy. In the middle is OnePlus's newest flagship. This year they opted not to go for a Pro version, so we have the OnePlus 11. And over here is the Google Pixel 7 Pro, one of the trusty phones of Android as you've seen in our previous comparisons. If you saw our previous videos, you would know that we prefer the Pixel's audio over the Galaxy's. It looks like OnePlus cut corners here, as the noise cancelling is pretty much non-existent, so the points will go to the Pixel. With slow motion, they all can do 240 frames at 1080p, which is pretty much the industry standard these days on most mobile phones. As we turn up the frames, we see that the S23 Ultra can go up to 960 frames at 1080p, while the OnePlus 11 can do 480 frames at 720p. They will be the winners in this category, as we have macro last on the list. So this is often really hard. What we did was see how close the figure could get to the camera without the photo losing quality, and this was around 4 cm for the Pixel and the Galaxy and 5 for the OnePlus 11. In general, the S23 Ultra can get a little closer, but the quality is not always as good as the Pixel 7 Pro, meaning they just are very close in results. OnePlus isn't that invested in macro, so the results aren't a surprise. Well guys, thank you for watching until the end, and we hope you enjoyed our new, simpler, and cleaner structure. The winner of the photo category was Google, as OnePlus took Ultrawide. Portrait photos also went their way with an amazing performance, but videos are the thing of Samsung when it comes to Android. Zoom and stabilization are two other features that the S23 Ultra excel at, and their front camera is also top quality. Audio goes to the Pixel and slow motion to Samsung, while macro is split between these two in a draw. If you like this comparison, make sure to hit those like and subscribe buttons and leave a comment about your thoughts. See you all in the next video.